Hey guys, it's Mike, and in this video, I'm going to create my own character and take you guys on the journey from first idea to last. And if you've ever hit a creative block, I'll be giving you some tips for brainstorming and how to come up with ideas and how to develop them in interesting ways. Alright, so let's get started. It always begins with an idea, right? And when I began drawing for this session, I was thinking, what should I draw? And the one idea that came to mind was, hey, let's draw a knight. The first thing I wanted to do was do a bit of research and look up some reference. So I went to Pinterest and looked up medieval armor. What I first studied was helmets. And at this stage, I'm really just looking for things that I think are cool. There's kind of a visor to his helmet that's like a baseball cap. I kind of like having an open-faced helmet so you can see his face. And especially with armor, I wanted to maybe better understand how they fit together. Reference is a good way to understand form and shape, and before designing things out of your imagination, it's good to study from life, and I think that helps your own kind of creations and designs look more believable. And a fun thing that I wanted to do with this kind of character design is I wanted to experiment with different mediums, and so I'm using carbon ink and the legendary G pen, something that I haven't used in a while, and so I wanted to practice. And you may be wondering, hey, why is Mike using carbon ink? Carbon ink is waterproof, and the reason is because on top of ink and the G pen, I wanted to practice with watercolor, do some watercolor sketching. A lot of the inspiration for this was from Miyazaki. Miyazaki is the famous Japanese anime director from Studio Ghibli. I bring up Miyazaki because in a lot of his art books, you can see that he uses pencil sketches and watercolor to do these really quick sketches to explore characters and kind of their personality and different story moments. So after helmets, I went on and did more studies of things like shoulder armor and so I was really in the zone. I was doing gauntlets and gloves, and there's an underside that's not armored, and that's cool, it's just a glove. And I was going on to chest armor, and then I realized I made this big mistake, this huge smudge on the paper, and my heart kind of dropped because it kind of looks bad. But luckily I had some gouache, and gouache it's sort of like watercolor's cousin. Watercolor is very transparent, you can layer colors, but gouache is opaque, so you can't see through it. So if you actually mix them together, they kind of work together and you can cover the paint. And so I mixed the white gouache with some grayish blue and covered the armor. And so crisis averted. But that little speed bump gave me a moment to pause and look over all the studies I did. But as I was looking at all of it, I realized, okay, I've got some cool knight designs, but there was something that I kind of felt like, it's kind of missing something. And so I thought, how can I make this knight different and kind of my own design? So for some reason, what I did was I thought of this other idea that I had recently, and it's this drawing I did of sci-fi theme, and I ended up drawing this bubble on this guy's face, this breathing apparatus that's very organic, like it's in space, maybe a different planet. I was thinking, I really like that breathing bubble idea, and now I'm thinking, well, what if, right? Like, I think if you're ever stuck with ideas and you're brainstorming, you can ask what if questions. And so here I'm thinking, I've got this knight and the armor. What if I add the bubble idea to the knight? Like, what would that look like? And what would the knight become? And at this point, I'm excited and intrigued because it's kind of a mystery to me. I don't really know how it's going to end up, but I want to explore it. And so I dove right in and began to explore this idea of a knight and, bubble helmet or something, right? Two different ideas. Let's see if we can combine it into something fun. So first sketch that I did was literally the knight. I literally just drew the bubble on him. I looked at it, and even in this sketch, I thought, okay, it's not quite, the spark's not there, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, let me try and do a variation on that idea and see what we come up with, right? So I thought, okay, another, right? What if his helmet is, maybe the top of his helmet is off? So in this bubble, maybe he's a sci-fi knight or something. His hair is just kind of floating around. And so I drew this idea, And I began to like it, at least visually, right? This idea of his hair, it's like in zero gravity floating around. Visually, it's interesting. And another what if, right? Like, oh, well, this bubble is organic. It's free floating and it looks like water. What if it's water actually? And okay, does that mean he's not breathing air? Like he breathes water? So what does that mean? He's like a merman. He's a knight of the ocean kingdoms. And so the next thing I thought was, okay, I've done my kind of studies on armor, but now I have this whole theme of the ocean. So how about we go back to Pinterest and see what we can find? I have this whole world to explore now, and I'm thinking, how can I take things in the ocean and add it to the idea of the night? I'm looking for something that piques my interest, or just something that I find visually appealing or exciting. And then I found this guy, this little fish in these plants, these sea anemones. And it reminded me of the drawing we just did of the guy. And so here I got really excited about this possibility of an idea. So I'm drawing our ocean knight, and his hair is now underwater because he's breathing water, right? His helmet is there's water in it. And just like the photo, I drew a fish in his hair, so it felt familiar, right? It's like the fish in the ocean, in the plant, and it's one of those things again where now an idea leads to more questions. Who is this fish? Why is he in the water helmet of this guy? What if the fish is his helper? It's sort of like this, he's like the assistant of this ocean knight. And maybe they're friends or something, or maybe his friend was turned into the fish, and they had to go on land to try and find the cure for the spell, or change him back into a merman. So I thought, oh, maybe this fish can swim around the armor and like fix it, like he's got like, I don't know, some way to fix armor in battle when it gets damaged. Still playing with the theme of the ocean, and now because he's a knight, I'm thinking, well, what's the next thing that we can explore with this design? And I'm thinking weapons. Because he's from the ocean kingdom, and maybe he can control the water. So maybe what if he had a sword because he's a knight? But what if the sword is made of water? It's like, have you guys ever seen the 3D printers and they shoot like high-speed jets of water? It's like a laser, and the water is so fast that it cuts through metal, right? So I'm thinking, what if he has the ability to form this water sword and it vibrates so fast that it can cut? How can we add to it? What else can we do? So I was looking at more of the pictures I found, the reference, and I saw this guy, and I was like, okay, so since it's water, maybe he's got a fish friend, maybe he has a jellyfish friend, and inside the sword is like an upside down jellyfish. So the tentacles go up the sword, and so not only can it cut, but I guess you get shocked by the jellyfish too. Let's do like one image that puts it all together. Maybe it's sort of an action pose, and I'm still kind of developing things, right? So with this next drawing, I drew the armor, but you know how sometimes you see like people wearing like half armor, or maybe one arm is just unarmored? And so I thought, okay, what if the water from his helmet went down one side of the armor, and that was kind of used to change shape, maybe form different weapons? And I was thinking again about what other kind of weapons could I use that are from the ocean. And I remember Neptune has a trident, and so a trident has kind of 3 points, and I thought, well, let's put our jellyfish in there, and the jellyfish tentacles can go up to 3 different points, and so yeah, we got like a shocking trident too. It's really funny, you remember I first began with just an idea for a knight, and not really knowing how this final version of him would be and end up. But just in this video, I think I just wanted to show you guys that you may not have all the answers in the beginning on certain things, but don't let that discourage you. Instead, see it as an opportunity to go looking for ideas, right? You can go to online and look for reference and do some studies. You can think about what interests you at this moment and look for ways to combine them in interesting ways. And I think just that act of creativity and the what if questions, right? What if we added this with this? Oh, what would that look like? And and then that leads to other ideas. And so I think the world of your imagination can open up, and I think that's when you can really enjoy your art. And through the process of brainstorming and knowing how to look for ideas, I think art can be just a very joyful and fun experience. And so I hope this video was helpful, and if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe so you don't miss any more future videos, and I'll see you guys real soon. All right, see ya.